Please welcome Mayor Cindy Silva, the can-do mayor.
Thanks. Ed, thank you for your kind introduction this morning. And I also want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this event each year, because this allows us to talk about city priorities and initiatives and how we're working together. And I also want to thank the Chamber and the entire business community for being such good partners with the city, because together we make a better community, a better local business environment, and a better place for people to be able to live, work, and visit day in and day out. I do have a number of city priorities and strategic initiatives that I'll talk about this morning. And thank you, I'm done. Was that you? We'll start basically that to be a great community, which is what all of our goal is, we must ensure that we are a safe community for all. That means for all residents and all businesses and all those who want to visit here. And I can say confidently that we continue to be among the safest communities in the region, if not the state and the nation. In fact, over the last 5 years, our crime rate has been relatively constant, which is a really high bar to achieve, because consider where we've been over the last 5 years and how everything, the entire environment has been changing, so that we are able to maintain a relatively constant level of crime. I want to say thank you to the chief and thank you to our police department. Now, 95% of our citywide crime involves property crimes, which translates to basically theft, which is better than what it could be. But this is getting to be more troubling in recent years, and we're seeing this across the Bay Area and the state, because property crimes are actually becoming more violent. So we're very focused on that, and how do we address those issues. And of course, let's talk about downtown. The city is hyper-focused on avoiding a repeat of the organized retail theft incident that occurred at Nordstrom just about a year ago. And that's why we as a city invested to support the deployment of a 5-unit officer downtown patrol unit, among other strategies. And all of that together has made Walnut Creek less attractive to criminals, and we're very appreciative for that. Of course, I can say that a safe community involves more than just fighting crime. Our police officers, unfortunately, are often called upon to be the first responders for individuals experiencing a mental health crisis. And to better handle these crises, I really want to credit the police department and its leadership for doing everything they can to expand our crisis intervention and de-escalation training, as well as investing in tools that facilitate a less lethal response to these incidents. In addition, and in partnership with the cities of Martinez and Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek has formed a regional crisis response team. And the goal is that no matter what time of day and what day of the week, between these 3 cities, police departments, they can have a team that is prepared and trained to handle a mental health response. Of course, we're fortunate because PD's work on mental health issues is really part of a broader county-wide effort. Walnut Creek has been a key member of the partnership between the county and the 19 Contra Costa cities to offer a non-law enforcement response to anyone, anywhere, anytime in Contra Costa who's experiencing a mental health crisis. When fully operational, the A3 program will feature 3 elements. Mobile crisis response teams deployed across the county so that anywhere, anytime, a team can get to an individual within 1 to 2 hours. The second element is an around-the-clock crisis call center. And the third is a mental health outpatient center and detox facility, so there's a place to go other than county jail for the people that are experiencing these incidents. And I really want to acknowledge our county supervisors for recognizing the need and working with the 19 cities and taking the leap to bring this program to fruition. Now, of course, among those who frequently experience mental health and substance abuse issues are those who are homeless. And regardless of the numbers of people or the causes, homelessness is a significant concern for the community. Walnut Creek is investing about $500,000 each year to tackle the issue. First and foremost, the police department has a 2-member homeless outreach team, specially trained to work with the homeless and connect them to available resources. Second, contracting with Contra Costa County. We have a two-person team of social workers who support the homeless 40 hours a week in our community, and they provide health and basic needs services, and they also provide help to find permanent housing for them. For nearly 10 years, we've supported the work of the Trinity Center, the local nonprofit that provides essential safety net services and case management support for the homeless. And we partner with the Trinity Center in providing the winter night shelter between December and March each year at the National Guard Armory. And I really want to acknowledge, wave your hands, the representatives of the Trinity Center who are here today. So thank you for your work on behalf of our community. Of course, homelessness is also a symptom of the larger housing challenge that we face across the region and the state. And it's making headlines every day. The cause is, in fact, lack of supply. And the consequences are high prices, overcrowding, and long commutes. And as an example, our statistics for Walnut Creek show that 50% of Walnut Creek households are housing cost burdened. And this has a significant impact on our workforce, on all of your businesses, and on the economy as a whole, both regionally and across the state. Walnut Creek recently finalized our 2023-2031 housing plan, and the plan reflects our commitment to doing our fair share to tackling the housing crisis. We'll continue to focus housing in and around downtown, close to jobs, transportation, services, schools, and away from the protected open space areas. And among these projects will be 100% affordable projects like the Habitat for Humanity project that is under construction near the Contra Costa Center and the Pleasant Hill BART station, but it's in Walnut Creek. We'll also support additional accessory dwelling units and other housing options that address workforce housing for teachers, nurses, and others among us who are simply priced out of the market. And we'll see a few small single-family infill projects come out of the ground over the coming years. But there won't be a lot because, as you know, we're a built-out community and our infill opportunities are really in the downtown core area. Ultimately, Walnut Creek will continue to grow over the next decade, but I will also say that as a community grows, we will become increasingly diverse and will want to be known as a community that is welcoming and inclusive. The city has been working on diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives for about 3 years, and a key part of this initiative has been the work of a 15-member community-based DEI task force. The work of the task force will reach a critical juncture in the coming weeks, and we look forward to receiving their final recommendations in April. In the meantime, plans are underway for our first ever city-sponsored Fiesta Cultural, a week of events and performances to celebrate Latin arts and culture. And among highlights will be Center Rep's production of the musical In the Heights, a performance by Cuban jazz trumpeter Arturo Sandoval, and a free weekend music and dance street fair. So mark your calendars for June 20th to 25th. On another front, we are nearing the completion of an updated and broader environmental sustainability action plan, which will provide us with a comprehensive approach for how to achieve our greenhouse gas emission reduction goals, adapt to climate change, and enhance climate resiliency. But while we've been writing our updated plan, we haven't been sitting on our thumbs. We've actually been getting a lot done to make progress toward our environmental goals. We've added more than 30 public EV charging stations in city garages and parking lots. We've installed cool roofs made of 90% recycled content on a number of city facilities, including the historic Shadelands Ranch House, and we won a national award for putting a recycled content roof on a historic building. Our vehicle fleet has 7 all-electric vehicles and 29 hybrid vehicles, including 8 recently purchased for patrol vehicles for the police department. We are testing various electric handheld tools in our parks, and we will switch over to electric tools as we phase out units that are gas-powered units that are wearing out. And to conserve water, we have converted some 7.5 acres of city ball fields to drought-tolerant turf. And we've done all of this having also joined MCE for our electric power, and also installing solar facilities in a number of facilities across the community, including in the parking lot right here at Boundary Oak. And on a very cold morning, I'm sure you really did want to be out of the sun. So let's talk about the economy. That's why you're all in business, right? Now that the pandemic is hopefully in our rearview mirror, we're focused as a city on revitalizing the local economy and working with all of you to do that. And I want to thank all of you who worked with us as we navigated the economic challenges of the past few years. I know it hasn't been easy. We're especially pleased that so many of you opted to participate in the Rebound program. In fact, at the height of COVID, 67 dining and retail businesses were operating outside in what we called pop-ups, and 71 small businesses received Rebound grants from the city totaling nearly $600,000. Over the past year, we've been transitioning from Rebound to Downtown Next, and as part of this, we've established a downtown outdoor dining program that encompasses a fee structure for use of the public right-of-way and guidelines for outdoor dining structures that give proprietors design flexibility for their spaces while also ensuring that we're protecting the safety and health of the public who are sitting in the street in many cases. In the coming months, the new outdoor dining sites will start to pop up, first on Main Street and eventually on Locust Street once East Bay Mud and Central Sand complete their utility upgrades. As part of our economic development initiatives, the city recently commissioned studies on 3 economic sectors, and the results are quite interesting. First, for retail. The study shows that Walnut Creek fared better than most communities during COVID. In fact, our retail vacancy rates currently are generally lower than most downtowns and trending toward the healthy range. Some of the key takeaways that we learned from the study is that Walnut Creek remains the retail center for the East Bay and a key regional shopping destination. In addition, one of the important learning points from the study is that retail thrives with the critical mass that you get with the current ground floor retail zoning in downtown. Just think about the Diamond District in New York. Everybody's located together. However, there are some things to consider as we look at the future, such as allowing greater flexibility on the second floor spaces above the downtown retail uses. That could be helpful. And further, if we want to keep that critical mass of retail in the downtown area, we need to probably consider reducing the amount of retail that we envisioned in our Walnut Creek, West Downtown, and North Downtown specific plans so that we allow the concentration to occur and we don't allow concentration to become distributed across a very large geographic area. And I'm not talking about the periphery areas, they're not your neighborhood shopping centers. They are Mount Diablo Boulevard, North Broadway up near the auto sales area. Now, in contrast to the retail sector, the office sector, as you can imagine, is a bit more unsettled, although there are some bright spots. And of note, we expect greater demand for medical office space because of the development of 2 major cancer centers in Walnut Creek, one at John Muir Health in partnership with UCSF, and the other at Bass Medical in the Shadelands. That is going to create a need for anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 additional amounts of medical office space. For office, the study also noted that work from home is in flux. If you thought it was all going to be work from home for the future, or everybody was going to go back to work 5 days a week, well, we don't really know yet. It's really been a bit of a hybrid. A second learning is that office-based businesses are taking advantages of vacancies and they're moving up in quality, which is also serving as enticement to their employees to come back to the office. And a third learning is that proximity to amenities make a difference. For example, buildings like Grower Square, which is right next to downtown, are experiencing much lower vacancy rates right now than those comparable office buildings, same class of office space, just 4 to 5 blocks away next to the BART station. And that's because of the amenities that are within a block of Grower Square. One other thing I want you to remember is that the arts in Walnut Creek, anchored by the Lesher Center, is a $40 million plus per year contributor to our local economy. And that's why we're so happy that the Lesher Center is back after a 16-month hiatus during COVID. So here's some of the dozens of upcoming events you can see at the Lesher Center, and all of the information is on the table. You have one for each of you. I was amazed when I got this in the mail and looked at everything that's happening and all of the different options, but some of which, last night was Michael Tubbs, former mayor of Stockton, who talked for 90 minutes, and I don't think anyone in the room was bored. Actor Henry Winkler will be here at the Lesher Center in April. A performance also will be there by the Dance Theater of Harlem. Summer Sounds outdoor concerts on the Rudney Plaza will be back in July, followed by arts around August, in, yes, you guessed it, August. And for the first time ever, the East Bay Women's Conference will be in Walnut Creek, and it will be at the Lesher Center, and I hope to see you all there on Tuesday, March 7th. Now that I've given a few highlights about the economy, let's talk about the city's fiscal health. As many of you know, the city was not immune to the fiscal challenges of the pandemic. When COVID hit 3 years ago, in March, in fact, we're coming up on 1,000 days, city revenues took a $13 million hit in a matter of weeks. And then by the end of that June, so only a few months later, the city had tackled a $22 million plus deficit in its budget that had to be closed. Fast forward to today, I'm pleased to report that we have a balanced budget. With careful management over the last few years, we avoided using any reserves during COVID, and that's giving us healthy emergency reserves today. Plus, we've set aside $18 million for facility improvements and an additional $23 million for future pension obligations. And we will have a balanced budget going forward. Now, you may be wondering about all the money we're going to get from Measure O. Voter approval of Measure O last November gives us the opportunity to address a range of quality of life issues. The increase will actually go into effect on April 1. So if you've got a big purchase, want to buy a Maserati, do it in March, please. And we'll see the first revenues from the sales tax increase in June. But we're not waiting to start planning on how we will deploy that money. Planning for the new Heather Farm Community Center and Aquatics Complex is just beginning, and the first step is to select the project management team for that multi-year project, as well as the architectural team. And I will close with this note. On behalf of the community, I want to say thank you. Thank you to the Chamber and Walnut Creek Downtown and nonprofits like the Library Foundation and the Diablo Regional Arts Association for supporting the effort to get us Measure O. And I want to thank all of you, the individual members of the community who endorsed Measure O, donated to it, and walked 20,000 pieces of literature to neighbors all over the community twice. That's right. And Audrey knows. We were successful because we worked together as a community, and our community will celebrate our success together.